Hello and welcome to Julia's Palette Studio, a place where you can paint your heart out. So, I hope you guys had a great day today. I have been busy working on this painting here, this still life painting that I've been working on for a while. Um, I'm still plugging away at it. I am at the awkward teenager stage right now. That's for sure. Definitely an awkward teenager stage where, when I was a teenager, braces, glasses, skinny like a toothpick, kind of gangly. Well, this painting right now is at that stage, and it's a love-hate thing. So I know that when I put this still life together, when I put it together initially, I absolutely loved it. I loved it, loved it. I loved everything about it. And then when I printed out the photographs for the reference, I loved it. But for some reason right now, I don't. So maybe because it's mind-boggling for me right now, because it's a little complicated. And I'm not a photorealistic painter. I'm not a photorealistic painter, and I feel like this subject and all this busyness is exactly what a photorealist painter would love to paint. Um, I know once I get past this gangly teenage stage on this that I'll be happy about it again, and I'll look forward to painting it again. Um, But right now, I'm, I don't know, I'm going to be putting some more wet waters up there and down in here. I'm going to put some more wet and wet in here and here. And then I some shadow areas that I want to use some more wet and wet. So I'm going to be doing that. I want to get rid of this masking fluid because I don't like using or leaving masking fluid on for a long time. I've gotten into trouble doing that in the past. I think it's better for me if I want to keep it that I reapply it, which is probably what I'm going to do. 'Cause I know I've got some areas, even in the cloth, that I want to lay down some masking fluid to protect some of the shapes and colors that I had put in. Um, but yeah, so I am plugging away at this. I'm definitely not a photorealist painter, so that is definitely part of the issue that I'm dealing with right now. I am going to lift this and reapply it because I don't want any, I don't want any, I don't want any masking fluid to age and not come off. That has happened to me in the past. So I would much prefer to reapply it definitely than have an issue where it sticks onto the paper and then I can't get it off. So that's good there. I think I have one more here that I have to take off right there. So I will protect that again. And yeah, because I have to put some masking fluid down in some other spots that I want to protect. So um, I'll be doing that. I know I'm going to go through this again and see where I can put a little bit more masking fluid down. Because I know in these areas here, these highlight areas, I have to put some more color in, but I still have to save the bright white. So anyway, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do some more wet and wet up in here and here. And then I'll go about laying down some more masking fluid. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to pause this a minute and give you guys, I don't want you guys to get bored while I set up a few things. So I'm just going to pause this and then I'll come back. All right. I'll see you in a minute because it'll seem like a minute to you guys. Okay. Okay. So I have my reference photo here that I'm going to use. And I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to wet up in here. And I'm going to use one of my favorite brushes. This one is by Jack Richardson. It's a Richardson Professional size 10. I absolutely love, love, love this brush. I love Jack Richardson products. I have used them for a long time. Their easels are incredible. I have two nice big easels from Jack Richardson that I absolutely love. You can't get any better than that. So I'm going to add in my water. I guess I'll just start up here. I'm not going to worry too much about but what I'm going for right now is the greens, the foliage. I'm gonna work on that. So I'm just gonna lay in water. I'm not gonna get detailed like I said. I'm just gonna, I know there's some areas in here where there's like this pinky salmon color, but a lot of this right in here are different shades of yellow, green, and green. So that's what I'm gonna go for right now is the yellow, greens. I'm gonna lay some in. There. And again, I got to be careful up here because there's some pink buds, but a lot of it is the greens. Okay, so I'm going to drop some in now. I am going to use yellows. I am going to drop in some yellows in here. Well, I guess some of that background it's okay. I guess I'm going to have some soft edges, aren't I? Yep, some soft edges. That's there. And okay, get some greens in there. I'm gonna actually add a green I mixed. It's kind of bright, but I know there's gonna be some areas that are bright, some areas that aren't so bright, but I'm gonna start laying in some of those. Just drop in some of that color. Not gonna be everywhere, but no. So I have this little thing right here, my little handy dandy palette here. Let's drop some of that in. Some there. I said right in there. Let's just drop that. And I see some, I'm going to put in some sap green. I'm going to lay in some of that. Not much, but I'm going to put in some of that. There. There. And let's see, add some in here. Yeah, I'll put some of that in here as well. And I'm going to add another green mixture. Put in some more yellows. I'm going to drop some of that. Ooh, that wasn't wet. Oops, that was not a wet area. I just dropped something and I don't know what it was. Hope my dogs don't find it and eat it. Yep. Okay. And that wasn't wet either. Whoops. Oh, you know what? There we go. Okay, and I'm going to drop in some more yellow. Just going to drop in some more yellows. More yellows. Lots of yellows, so I'm going to drop in some yellows. I need to get some paper towel off. Okay. Okay, I'm going to lay that down in there. Okay. Great. And just a little bit more. Oops. Definitely. Okay, I'm going to let that, let's see, one more spot. One more spot. I'm going to add some more yellow in. Put that in there. And there. There. All right. Okay, I'm going to let that, I'm going to get rid of this right here. Try and get rid of that anyway. I see real bright green in the paint. I'm going to drop especially right in there. Drop that in. Okay, now I'm going to let that go. Just let it dry. Let that bad boy dry. And now we're going to go into this. And I am going to be just a slight bit more careful where I put my color. I definitely want to be more careful where I put my color, where I put my water on this one. there's a lot of little petals that, you know, the points of the petals that I don't want to lose. So I'm going to I'm going to use that Chinese brush that I've been experimenting with. I'm going to use that. Let's get the size right here. It seems to be, so far, a size that I'm using a lot. It's the Fumui extended point brush. I got this on the TikTok shop. I thought it was a gimmicky brush. They were making flowers and stuff like that. But um, boy, if you're doing hair or fur, or you need a rigging on a boat and you need line to continue, this is the brush. This is the brush that you want to use for sure. So I'm just going to add water using this brush because, like I said, I don't want all these little tips of the, I know I can always bring some back with negative painting, but I don't want to start off the bat with having lost them all. So I'm just gonna add water around it, around them as much as I can. Definitely. So this is this. You don't want to do large areas with this brush. It's just, but boy, oh boy, if you want to fill in, leave areas with points and details, this is a great brush. So I'm going to just do that, dropping in color. And I don't want this to look like everything's pasted on, so I do want soft edges. But I do want to be able to control where, if I can, where those soft edges are going to be for the most part, and where they're not going to be. And this is all greenery down in here, all greenery down in here. And a lot of it is shadow, but there's going to be some areas that, okay, I'm referring to my, always refer if you have to. Okay, that's green. Just want to be really careful on that edge. Over the leaf. I don't want to go over on that either, but I want to, all right, carry that out into here. All right. There. Okay. Okay, here we go. You know who you are. Yep. All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my paint again. And I'm gonna lay some more color in. Gonna start with the cool yellow again in here. Mhm, mhm. Mm. That color in the background bled a little bit again. Might be too much water. All right. There's more yellow in the stems up at the top. Seems where the sun is hitting it a little bit. Now, mhm. 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 I have a feeling that that mm-mm. Mm. Okay, I know that there are darker greens there. Yeah. Mm. 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 Well, everywhere right now. I got way too much water. Yep, way too much water. Yep. But all right, I'm gonna let this stuff dry and then I'm gonna come back. So I'm gonna let it dry and I'll be back. And actually, let me just, I can just do this. No, that is, nope, that's pink. I'm gonna leave it be. This, where is that? Okay, I gotta walk away. Sometimes it's hard for me to walk away, but I'm gonna walk away and then I'll be back. Okey doke. So don't go anywhere. Okay, so I got the I got the Wet and Wet down. I had to dry it with a hair dryer because it was taking a while to dry. So I put a hair dryer to it. And so now I'm going to go in here into these flowers over here, and I'm going to do some Wet and Wet there. That I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to do it over here as well. Going to leave these in the center for now. These are different flower. Actually, these are different than this, or could be the same, but the lighting is different hitting these. But I am going to do some Wet and Wet on these. So I am going to add some water. I'm not going to bore you with the entire process of doing that, but I do want you, you know, if you want it. I mean, I don't want to bore you, but I am gonna lay some of that down, and oh, it's this flower starts with. So I don't want to. I'm just gonna paint to the edge of these flowers, and there. I just want to get that edge. So I don't want to paint those. And that. Okay. And then that one is separate. So move that. Okay. So now just go here. I'm not gonna get super detailed, but I want to get some of these petal edges. That's why I'm using my tip. Some of them I don't have to. Don't have to on all of them. Oh, there. Quick, quick, quick. Don't want to be. So I am going to put this on pause while I do the other side so that I don't bore you guys to tears. Okay, so both sides have color, and I am not going to mix colors. I'm going to just lay some straight color down and let them mix by themselves on the paper. I am going to add some, I'm going to add some cadmium yellow light again. And I'm going to be adding it in here. Just a little bit. Cadmium yellow dark, I'm sorry. Not light. Cadmium yellow dark. Add it there. And I see some more yellow tinges in there. Gonna add it there. And up in here. So I'm gonna add that. I see the light hitting it. See it under on the underside. It's all gonna go together anyway, but and then I see it in this one. I see yellow in there. I see yellow. So I'm going to add it in there. Right there. And I see a little bit in this one as well. Right in there. Okay. Yeah, this side has definitely got more water than this side. And just a touch. My palette's too far away right now. But that's okay. There. Okay. All right. I don't see much anywhere else. I do see some up here. Even though this isn't wet, I'm going to add this because I see a lot of yellow up in here in this flower. Right in there. I know this is a rose color flower, it's like a rust color, like a burnt orange color. But I'm laying down this first because I saw it up in there. So I laid that down and okay, I see some. I'm going to have to lift some color out right in here because I put green where that rose color flower. There's supposed to be a flower right here and I accidentally got green in there. So I'm going to lift a little bit of that out with my Fritch brush. I'm going to lift a little bit of that out. And yep, I'm going to have to lift. It was hard for me to see where those were, but okay. All right. So let's see. And I see I have this mauve color on my palette up here. It's this real pretty mauve. Oops. It's actually violet rose, maybe? Another country heard from. Hmm. Oop. I don't want it that dark. I don't want it that dark. So just do that. That's drying a lot. I'll just do that. I like this color a lot. I'm going to have to get more of that because I don't have much left in the tube. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Get a little bit more daring. I'm not very daring actually when it comes to putting color down. I'm kind of chicken actually. So let's see if I can get a little more daring, right? At least I know where those colors are darker. It is drying faster over there because I see an edge right here. You see that? Yep, that's drying really fast compared to the other. All right. Now, let's see. And down here. Mhm. And up in here. A little bit more up there. A bit. know there's a lot in there. That's really dark in there. That's really dark. But I don't want to do that yet. I'll have to come back and do that in another pass. Let's see. I have to do that in another pass. Look how fast this dried. Right here. That dried fast. For sure. Definitely. Okay. Now, go back. I'm going to get some alizarin crimson on my brush. And I'm going to mix it with that mauve and do a test. Here's the alizarin crimson. Because I'm looking for, it's not the exact same color. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's see, put it in there. Oops. It's not red, but it's not red. It looks red though, right there. Hmm. And I'm gonna go back in and add that mauve as well. Yep. I need to add some water to that. That's too dark. Hmm. Hmm. Oops. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and grab some more of that mauve and add that back in. Yep, add some more of that mauve back in up here. There. If I'm not mistaken, that mauve is an opaque paint. I believe that's Janet, or it's American Journey paint, and I don't think they sell it anymore. Cheap Joe's went out of business, and I don't know if you can get their stuff anymore. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Because there's a couple colors that they make, that they have made that I've bought that I really like. Yep, I really like them. So if I can get them again, that would be awesome. All right, that, that. Okay. I see some of that red in there. I'm going to go back and put in some of that down in here. Oops. Looks like I took it all off my brush. You see some of that color there. Well, obviously, I'm going to go in and define with some negative painting and define these flowers. But for now, don't you just love it when your brush comes to a beautiful point? Don't you just love that when that happens? I know I do. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry. And I'll come back. That's nice and wet. That's for sure. There's a lot of darks in there, so there's a lot of negative painting I can do in there to bring out some leaves. But before I do that, I know I have to add some more. I see right away I'm going to have to add some more yellow down in here. I'm going to add yellow first because I know I'm going to be adding green on top. Yep, that one is. But I am going to have to lift out. I am going to have to lift out some of that to bring out that one. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. That's definitely very yellow right there. Very, very. And I'm going to put some yellow in here because. Oops, you can't see me. You can't see what I'm doing. I apologize. I apologize. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at my reference photo. You see all those bright yellows? And see, I'm going to be putting some in. And then I go back with greens and pinks or whatever else it needs. And okay. Okay. What else? I had taken some wax crayon, just clear like paraffin wax, and the flower arrangement had those wispy, I don't even know what you call it. They're like, floral bouquet, like filler greens and stuff, and they were real wispy. So I just took a wax, paraffin wax, and just kind of used that to see if I could get a resist, and I did. So like in here, you'll see some of those wax resist strokes up in there. There's the wax resist strokes. There's some here, but they're not resisting the paint. Don't know why, but they're not, which is fine. That's fine. And actually, I could even go and do it again now that I've got paint laid down. I could do it again if I want to. And then when I paint over with a darker color, let's say I want to do some wispies in here, um, like in here, I could put a couple in, and then when I paint over it with dark, it would resist the dark paint. So, it's an option for me if I want to do it. That's for sure. Okay. Let this dry. I am going to put this on pause yet one more time. Um, and then I'll come back and we'll go from there. Okay, so I had to go and dry again so that I could continue. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do now. When I'm looking at this reference photo, I know I'm going to have to darken this back in here. I'm going to have to neutralize this one a little bit, this green, push it back. I'm probably going to have to push it back a little bit. Is that and put that back. Um, so that's what my thought is, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that right here and see if I'm correct. I hope I don't. I hope I'm not wrong, but red and green, when you mix red and green together, you get a brown or a neutral, which is a neutral. Um, and one of my favorite blacks is by using alizarin crimson and phthalo green. I get a beautiful neutral gray, but I don't want a lot of red on that. I just want a little bit, like a glaze of that color, so that's too dark. So I don't even want that much. I need a lot more water. Let's see about that. That's probably still too much, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it anyway. Let's see what happens here. I don't mind if it's in the, that's too red, too much red on that. Actually, I can go in there because that is almost black in there. So go in there. I probably should have added, instead of using alizarin crimson, I could have used maybe dioxazine purple. But we'll see, right? We'll see. I don't know if that pushes it back enough, but we shall see. We shall see, we shall see. And that, I can go over that. I don't mind if I go in there with that. I don't mind. That. Okay, so I can go in there too. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that like that. Oh, that's actually in shadow. So I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. That did push it back, which is what I wanted. Okay, that's what I wanted. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do that with this. No, that is way too... I need to get a one of these guys. I need to get one of these guys and mix some. This is ultramarine blue, and that's what I want to use for that. So I'm going to add some more water to that. Okay. All right. And test that. Yep. Okay. So oops, not working. No, that's not working because that is, well, let's see. No, that is not working. Okay, so lesson learned on that. I'm going to have to lift this off. And with this one, okay, that one I can't do that because it just smears that paint and it totally changes. It's actually smearing the design. Paint was just lifting right off. So I'm going to have to come up with another tactic for that, to wait for that to dry, and then that didn't work. Okay, lesson learned on that one. That is definitely a lesson learned on that one. And yep, that didn't work. Okay. Area here, let's see. Use this. I'm going to check that color. That's gorgeous. Whew, that's a beautiful color. That is, I need a smaller brush. Smaller brush. Well, here we go. Back to this new Chinese brush I got. Check this out. We're going to take this and I'm going to put it in there. So I'm seeing blue in there. All right. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that moisture out of that brush, just a little bit. Roll up my sleeves a little bit. And then, yeah. That needle point of this brush, oops, is pretty amazing. Definitely going to use this when I have to do hair or eyelashes. This is pretty cool. It's almost... I definitely need to use my reading glasses when I'm doing this, for sure. I have to my reading glasses. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. All right. And there, there. Let's see. Okay. All right. That is a petal, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. I am going to stop for tonight. I'm gonna let that dry so that I can go back in and figure out my plan of attack there. It's still a little too damp to fix it, I think. I don't want to mess it up. So yeah, I am gonna wait. I am gonna wait. That's still wet. That's buckled a bit, so I am gonna wait on that. So okay guys, I'm gonna stop here, and so I want to thank you guys for watching with me tonight, watching the process of this. Um, you're welcome back to Julia's Palette Studio, where you can paint your heart out with me anytime. Um, yeah, so if you like this, if you got anything out of it, if you liked watching me, um, anything that you thought was worthwhile, please like and subscribe. I would really love that. It was great to have you. I would love to have you aboard with me on my journey, and I'd love to share your creative journey with you. So thank you guys very much for watching. Um, I'll be back and we'll see how this progresses. And hopefully I'll finish this real soon and get back to the flip side and finish Penny for Your Thoughts. So again, guys, thank you. Please like and subscribe. And oh, and if you think somebody else might enjoy it, please share with them. Okay, guys, it's time for me to get my jammies on and call it a night. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye now.